and mental disorders. Sometimes they suffer from hallucinations and hypersensitivity. It was believed that Moses would suffer from some of these things, maybe all of these things. They shared his story on the 10 o'clock news. It was a great story, a human interest piece. A little baby left in a basket at a dingy laundromat in a bad neighborhood in West Valley City. My mom says she remembers the story well. The pathetic shots of the baby in the hospital, hanging on to life, a feeding tube in his stomach and a little blue hat on his tiny head. They found the mother 3 days later. Not that anyone wanted to hand the baby over. But they didn't have to. She was dead. The woman who had abandoned her baby in a laundromat was pronounced dead on arrival from an apparent overdose at the very same hospital where her baby lay struggling for life several floors above her. Somebody had found her too, though not in a laundromat. The roommate, arrested that same evening for prostitution and possession, told the police what she knew about the woman and her abandoned baby in hopes of getting a little leniency. An autopsy of the woman's body showed she had indeed given birth very recently, and later DNA testing proved that the baby was hers. What a lucky little guy. He was the baby in the basket in news reports, and the hospital staff dubbed him Baby Moses. But Baby Moses wasn't found by the daughter of the Pharaoh like the biblical Moses. He wasn't raised in a palace. He didn't have a sister watching from the reeds, making sure his basket was pulled from the Nile. But he did have some family. Mom said the whole town was abuzz when it was discovered that Baby Moses's deceased mother was sort of a local girl. A girl named Jennifer Wright, who had spent summers with her grandmother, who lived just down the street from our house. The grandmother was still in the area. Jennifer's parents lived in a neighboring town, and a couple of her siblings, who had moved away, were still well known by many as well. So little Moses had some family after all. Not that any of them wanted a sick baby who was predicted to have all sorts of problems. Jennifer Wright had broken their hearts and left her family tired and shattered. Mom told me drugs do that. So the fact that she left them with a crack baby didn't seem especially surprising. My mom said she'd just been a regular girl when she was younger. Pretty, nice, smart even, but not smart enough to stay away from meth, cocaine, and whatever else she became a slave to. I imagined the crack baby Moses having a giant crack that ran down his body, like he'd been broken at birth. I knew that wasn't what the term meant, but the image stuck in my mind. Maybe the fact that he was broken drew me to him from the start. My mom said the whole town followed the story of Baby Moses Wright when it happened, watching the reports, pretending like they had the inside scoop and making up what they didn't know, just to feel important. But I never knew Baby Moses, because Baby Moses grew up to be just plain Moses, juggled between Jennifer Wright's family members, passed around when he became too much to take, transferred to another sibling or parent, who then put up with him for a while before making someone else step in and take their turn. It all happened before I was born, and by the time I met him and my mom told me about him, in an effort to help me understand him and be kind, the story was old news, and nobody wanted anything to do with him. People love babies, even sick babies, even crack babies, but babies grow up to be kids. Nobody really wants messed up kids. And Moses was messed up. I knew all about messed up kids by the time I met Moses. My parents were foster parents to lots of messed up kids. They'd been taking in kids all my life. I had 2 older sisters and an older brother who were out of the house by the time I was 6. I'd been kind of an oops, and I ended up being raised with kids who weren't my siblings and who came in and out of my life in stages and revolving doors. Maybe that was why my parents and Kathleen Wright, Jennifer Wright's grandma and Moses's great-grandma, had several conversations about Moses sitting at our kitchen table. I heard a lot of things I probably had no business knowing, especially that summer. The old lady was taking Moses in for good. He would be 18 in a month, and everyone else was ready to wash their hands of him. He'd spent time with her every summer since he was little, and she was confident they would do well together if everyone would just butt out and let her do her thing. She didn't seem concerned about the fact that the month Moses turned 18, she would turn 80. I knew who he was.